And welcome back, guys, to the Spacey Tropics Review channel, where we try to review just a little bit of everything. Now, by the title of the video, you obviously know that I recently purchased, or about a month ago, purchased a 27-inch 2019 5K iMac. Now, I know what you're saying. WWDC is around the corner, June 22nd. It's been announced by Apple. It's going to be a virtual WWDC, considering the fact of everything that's going on right now. However, one of the key things that a lot of people are hinting that might be dropped during WWDC is a brand new iMac. Now, maybe not necessarily hardware, but the announcement that a new iMac might be coming. Now, some of you might be saying, hey, Animal, why on earth did you buy a 2019 5K iMac, 27-inch? Why'd you do it? You could have waited a little bit. You could have done this. You could have done that. Trust me, I know. I took all of that into consideration before I bought this iMac. I needed a computer immediately. I wasn't going to wait till WWDC, which at the time that I purchased this, I didn't know it was coming out of WWDC, or rumors saying that it would come out there. I thought that the next new iteration of an iMac might come till all the way to the end of the year, December. Maybe October, when they usually drop MacBooks. They might just, put a small something in there and say, hey, there you go. But I needed a computer, like I said. I needed to start editing on a bigger scale. I needed to do a lot more work that my iPad Pro just, even with iPad OS, there was just a few knick-knack things that I needed to do on a computer that was much better suited for a computer than an iPad. So without further ado, we're going to go into some of the specs on this machine that I bought. We're going to go into a little knickknacks here and there of, do I think you should wait entirely for the brand new iMac, or at least the announcement of the brand new iMac to come out, and what are my overall verdicts. I'm not going to go too deep into anything because the 2019 5K iMac, this one has been obviously out since 2019. The refresh was in 2019. So we'll get into some of the specs and we'll move on from there. So let's get on with this overview/review. So what I have running here in my iMac, it is the base model. It is the 1799 base model, the budget as budget you can get, okay, when it comes to an iMac. Under the hood of this thing is an Intel Core i5 running at about 3 gigahertz. It's a 6-core Intel Core i5. It came with the base 8 gigabytes of RAM. I was not going to update or upgrade my RAM through Apple. That was a horrible idea, spending $400, $500, $600 extra just for a couple gigs more. No thank you. I know a lot of people in the market out there buy third-party RAM for their iMac. That's what I did. I bought 2 sticks of Crucial RAM, 16 gigs, added it to the 4 gigs each. There's 2 sticks of 4 gigs to give the 8. Got about 24 gigs of RAM now. Cool, works great, especially because I'm using DaVinci Resolve. I'll go a little bit into that in just a minute. Next, this does still have the Fusion drive. I know some people bash at me in the comments, oh, the Fusion drive, blah, blah, blah. Look, it's fine. I don't care. I'm probably going to get an external SD. Actually, my bad. I've kept saying SD. SSD, external SSD. Whereas I can plug an external SSD and walk around and do whatever with it and plug it into the iPad if I need to, because my iPad is going to be my mobile computer. I don't need a laptop anymore thanks to this iMac. And the iPad with iPad OS does plenty already. I have a strong feeling iPad OS 14 is going to bring far more things than we can ever imagine. That's just me. Maybe iPad OS 15 is the one that does that. Who knows? So the 1 terabyte Fusion drive is on this. Like I said, the 8 gigs of RAM, but I did upgrade that myself. It's fairly easy to upgrade the RAM. There should be a clip in here somewhere that I can put to show you about how the RAM looks inside of its new home. But other than that, 5K screen. Obviously, it's the 5K iMac. You get a 5K screen. Comes with Magic Mouse 2, Magic Keyboard. I didn't opt for the trackpad. I wasn't really fond of the trackpad for this. If it's a laptop, I'll take the trackpad. But other than that, in the back of this iMac, 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports. So if you have any external display that you want to connect to it via Thunderbolt 3, you can. I plan on getting a Thunderbolt 3 display myself, or Thunderbolt 3 capable display myself, to go along with this iMac to get dual screen, dual monitor kind of setup going. But obviously, things aren't as set up yet in my office as it could be. Now, I am thankful. I got a little new mic setup thing going on over here. Now I got the iMac, a little bit of that foam thing. I probably didn't set it up right, and a lot of people are going to bash me, but oh well. But lo and behold, yeah, those are the specs. It's just bare minimum. I didn't want to go crazy because obviously I knew a newer gen iMac was coming out, and I didn't want to overspend any type of money to say, hey, maybe it's just a rumor and it's not coming out till 2021. We don't know. For those of you that are keeping track, yes, this is an Intel 8th gen CPU, not the 9th gen that comes with the $2299 model that currently sells for this version of iMac. Some of you tech guys out there must be saying, oh, you're a YouTuber now. You're doing all of this stuff. You have a lot of subscribers, which, by the way, thank you guys so much for subscribing. I'm over 800 now, and I could not have done it without you guys. It is unbelievable to see over 800 subs on the road to 1,000. I can't wait. But anyways, back to the video. You're saying it's an 8th gen CPU. It's not a 9th gen. It's not even a 10th gen that's coming out in all the Apple laptops now. I get it, okay? I'm a computer guy myself. If I had my certificates with me right now, I'd show you, but they're plastered up on the wall, okay? I am network cabling certified. I have that. I got it from high school. Yes. I was going to be A+ certified, but I was in high school. Again, I'm not going to pay the $200 to go take the test because I didn't have $200 to go take the test. I could now, but forget it, okay? I know how to build computers just like some of you. I know how to do this. I know how to do that. It's not a big deal, okay? I understand what I bought. I know I bought an 8th gen CPU, but that doesn't mean it's, incapable, whatever the word is. Doesn't mean that this computer sucks, okay? For those of you, the average consumer that is watching out there, please understand, yes, the 10th gen CPU is the top of the top. It's the new kid on the block, and it is probably the most buttery smooth type of CPU you can get in your computer nowadays. Cool. But that's not to say that the 8th gen can't run just as well. Now, so I'm not MKBHD, I'm not Lou from Unbox Therapy, Dave 2D, your average consumer. I'm none of these guys, okay? I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I edit 8K raw footage, ProRes up to this, H.264 that, H.265 that. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, okay? My main concern is that if I can edit 1080p at 60 frames per second, for now, I'm more than happy. Maybe even at some point, bumping it up to about 2.7K, 30, 40, well, not, I don't know if there's 40, but 30, 50, and 60 frames per second. Cool. I'm okay with that. I'm completely fine with that. I myself don't think I'm ready to transition to recording 4K and then down-resing it to 1080 just for it to look super crispy clean. No, my videos are more about information first. I'll try my best to make it look clean later, right? The 8th gen CPU will work perfectly fine for 1080p video. I'm not concerned at all about that. Now, speaking of resolution, speaking of editing, well, what am I using? That's right, I didn't jump the bandwagon. I didn't hop on that Final Cut Pro bandwagon. I didn't. Why? Because I saw so much more potential in me using DaVinci Resolve than I did with Final Cut. Now, yes, the price is the same, $299 for each if you want the full version of DaVinci Resolve versus the full version of Final Cut Pro. But all these plugins, all these this, all these that, with Final Cut, I don't care. I don't care about that. What I care about is the overall experience of a software. And guess what? DaVinci gives me that. I get to build my own plugins and my own effects and my own this in DaVinci and call it a day. I don't have to worry about this guy, that guy, and paying $30 for this plugin and $50 for that plugin, or even trying to look for free plugins and Pirate Bay it, That's not my goal. That's not my goal here. I'm more than happy with DaVinci Resolve, the free version for now. More than happy with it. I love the way the color grading looks. Now, I'm not a color grading master, but eventually I will be, because thanks to DaVinci Resolve, I know what the hell I'm looking at, right? Another thing, I love the layout of DaVinci Resolve the best, okay? I love it the best compared to Final Cut. And to be quite honest with you, from editing on LumaFusion, going over to these two, for some reason, and I know LumaFusion was made to kind of mimic a little bit Final Cut, but to be quite honest with you, I kind of think that DaVinci Resolve mimics LumaFusion mimics DaVinci Resolve ever so slightly more, and that's what kind of drew me in. That and the color grading. The color grading and the fact that I can use the Fusion tab to make my own effects, my own plugins, whatever I got to do with it, right? So, one other thing I like to mention about DaVinci Resolve, or I'm pretty sure you can do this with Final Cut Pro as well. Another thing I like to talk about is the whole sidecar thing. For those who don't know what sidecar is Apple's way of screen mirroring, but it's screen mirroring using an actual Apple computer and an iPad. So with sidecar, generally you would think, okay, you get the 11-inch or 12.9-inch iPad. It'll be good to use sidecar to have dual screens for your laptop. Say if you bought the new 13-inch MacBook Pro that just came out or the 16-inch MacBook Pro. It's a great companion to use as a secondary screen. I've used sidecar ever so slightly a little bit with my iPad, not to a huge, crazy, full extent yet, because I'm still learning DaVinci Resolve and I'd rather see it on a big screen than an 11-inch iPad. But the option is there. So that's my thing. We talked about the specs. We talked about DaVinci Resolve that I'm going to use now. Let's go into a little bit of, should you really and truly wait for the brand new iMac to come? Whether it's just an announcement at WWDC in June 22nd, or if it's an actual hardware drop at WWDC. I know Apple's been dropping quite a bit of things recently. The iPhone SE, the upgrades for all the MacBooks, the MacBook 13-inch, the MacBook Air. They've dropped an update for the iPad along with the Magic Keyboard for the iPad. They've been dropping things left, right, and center with website refreshes all over the place. What's to say that they will even drop hardware at WWDC? We don't know. It's not generally a thing for them to drop hardware at WWDC. Not really. Sometimes they do, sometimes, but not all the time. They usually leave it for their events in September and October. Should you wait for a announcement of some sort for the new iMac? If it comes out, maybe there's a possibility that this new iMac can come out this year. It really depends on you. It really and truly depends on you. Do you need a computer today? You don't necessarily want a laptop. You want a desktop. It kind of varies there too. What kind of desktop do you need? Do you just need a computer that will, do the basics? Answer email. You can answer emails with it. You can do some basic, very basic, like on the App Store gaming. You can watch YouTube. You can video chat and do whatever you want. You just need the basic of the basics. Well, then to that, I say you're better off with a Mac Mini and go buy a separate monitor and do your thing from there, okay? If you really want to push power with the Mac Mini is a very powerful small computer already. Later on down the line, if you need graphics power, you can hook up an eGPU to it. It's perfectly fine. Now, if you need the power, you want the all-in-one thing, and you want a screen one time, you don't want the hassle of trying to buy a screen, buying this cable, buying that cable, buying all these crazy things, then yes, of course, getting the iMac is the best option. Now, should you just get the base model iMac like I did? Should you hop it up to get the 9th gen CPU for $22.99? Or should you just go all out and pay $49.99, pay $5,000 for an iMac Pro? Well, I'll tell you what, don't even think about paying $5,000 for an iMac Pro. And I'll tell you why, because if this is true, if it's somewhat true that an iMac refresh is coming, I can promise you the iMac Pro will be obsolete compared to the base model new version of the iMac. It just looks like it's heading in that direction, even though it has a Xenon processor and the whole nine. It just looks like it's heading into that direction, with the kind of spec bumps that come with the 10th gen CPU and the better RAM and the better hardware overall. Now, if you need power, more power than what I need, then yes, I would recommend getting the $22.99 model, get the 9th gen CPU with a little bit of a better specs here and there kind of thing going on. Don't buy the RAM. Please don't buy the RAM. Just, buy it from a third party. If you're like me, and you need some power, but you don't need that much power, right? You're just starting off like me on YouTube, or you're just starting off on your engineering career, and you got AutoCAD and CATIA and whatever, and you slap them onto the computer, and you're just working with that, or you're coding. Obviously, coding needs a lot of RAM. I'd say bump it up to 32 gigs. They say this iMac can only go up to 32 gigs. I highly doubt that. I have seen forums and websites that say that the base model iMac that I have can go all the way up to about 64 gigs instead. Cool. And then they say the one after that with the 9th gen CPU, you can bump that up to 128 gigs. I don't know how true the 128 gig is. However, give it a shot. You never know. right? If you don't need that much power, you're like me, you can get this. This is perfectly fine. It's been working great for me ever since I got it. The speakers on this thing are pretty cool. The webcam is still a potato. Yes, it's still a potato. Apple, fix this. The iPad even has a better camera now than anything else. Fix it. It's not that hard. It's not that hard to put a little old camera on the top here on something this big. Give it better microphones like you've given the 16-inch MacBook Pro and some of the other things. Even the iPad has better microphones, I believe, than this thing. So yeah, there are a lot of cons when you think about it. This design is very, very old. I mean, I believe this design hasn't changed since the very first iPad. Can you believe that? Since the very first iPad. How long has that been? Eight years now? That's absolutely nuts. This design hasn't changed for that long. Now, yes, the internals have changed, for sure. Internals have changed with better spec hardware and the whole nine. But the design itself has been the same. Who knows what the new design is going to be like, but I hope that with the new design comes better hardware, okay? This is a pro machine at heart. Long story short, should you wait? You could. It's your choice. You could. But if you need a computer now and you need a desktop and you're looking at this, go ahead. It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. $17.99 for this plus the tax came up to about... Oh, plus the tax plus Apple Care came up to about $2,096 and some change. Final thoughts. Overall verdict. Like I said, I know a lot of people have went over the iMac. The iMac is the iMac. Everybody wants to have one eventually because it's just that powerful. And the fact that you don't have to deal with a lot of things, extra cables, extra this, extra that, it's awesome. And I think it's the only powerful all-in-one that you can get. Nobody in the comment section, please tell me that Windows all-in-ones are good. Stop. Please stop. I'd rather you buy a Windows gaming laptop at that point before you even tell me that Windows all-in-one is better than this. No, thank you. Take it and go, like Russell Peters. Take it and go, okay? We ain't about that life. But, like I've been saying, this is one hell of a computer. It's done me right so far. I'm still learning DaVinci Resolve. This video is going to be edited on DaVinci Resolve. Hopefully I do well when it comes to the color grading and all that stuff. But we will see. We will see how well I can edit on DaVinci Resolve now as a beginner more than anything. But, again, final thoughts. I think this computer is fantastic. If you need a computer now and you're looking at the iMac, go ahead. If you want to future-proof yourself ever so slightly a little bit, even though you know the new one is coming out, then most likely you're going to need to buy the $22.99 model with the 9th gen CPU. That'll future-proof you for the next, at least I want to say 5 to 6 years. I only plan on keeping this one for about 3 to 4 years and see if Apple actually does take it back as a trade-in for the new one. Who knows? Or I might just give this one to my parents because they're not doing anything crazy. They're just surfing the web, going on YouTube and whatever. So I might just give my parents this one and go get the new one in the next 3-4 years or so. But push come to shove, this is one fantastic computer to work on. I've loved it ever since I got it. I've loved watching all my shows on it, including all the anime stuff on Crunchyroll that I like to watch. Hence Tokyo on my shirt. But it's an awesome computer. I'd like to thank you guys for watching this video. I know it was a little bit longish, maybe it's a little bit shortish. Knowing my videos, they're never short. But anyways, I hope that you've gotten a decent piece of information from me when it comes to this iMac video. But if you have any questions, please ask in the comment section below. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video. You never know when somebody might need a little bit more information about this iMac. And again, I have to thank all 800 plus of you that have subscribed to the channel. It's on my channel is on the road to 1,000. I love that some people are starting to communicate back and forth even more now. I love the fact that things are just going right for this channel, and I hope one day soon I can be one of the top players doing this whole YouTube tech thing. I will say that I don't want this just to be a tech channel. I want this to follow into cars. If any car guys are out there, any car gals are out there, if you're interested, I'm interested in learning more about cars. I wouldn't say I'm an expert by any means. Now, can I tell you what cars what? Sure. But can I tell you about this turbo, that blower, whatever? No. let's not get that deep into it, okay? But anyways, I do plan on doing car videos as well, sooner or later, just to build the channel, give it a variety of things, right? But that's for a later time. Thank you guys for watching. I will catch you guys in the next video.